Okay, let's continue with part 2 of the video. So notice that the first one, I went ahead and I solved it with elimination. Second example, I said, you know what? Let me show you the shortcut for elimination. And that was called the matrix, okay? So let's go to example 3 on our slides from Monday, okay? Here was the system from example 3. Y equals 15x plus 100, and y equals 25x plus 50. And this was the one about the family needing to clean up, and Dumpsters Incorporated was charging them $15 an hour plus a $100 fee, and then Garbage R Us was charging them this much. So X represented the hours. Maybe you're going to rent it 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't know. And then Y represented the total amount that you were going to pay at the end. So notice how these two equations are already in Y equals mx plus b. So I'm obviously going to show you the shortcut for graphing them on your calculator, okay? But I'm also going to show you by hand. Remember that by hand, I mean, I don't want to graph them by hand if I know I can graph them on the calculator, but this is also a good substitution. Remember, substitution works when at least one of your equations is either in Y equals or X equals. So what you can do is this. If all of these right here represent Y, then that means you can take all of that and substitute it for the Y in the second equation. So I can use substitution by taking all of this because it represents Y and substituting it for the Y in the second equation. So now I'm going to have this. This Y is being replaced by all of this, then my equals, and then all of that stayed the same. And then I just solve. Letters left. Cancel. 15 minus 25, or 15 plus negative 25, that's going to give you negative 10x plus the 100 equals 50. Then minus 100, minus 100. Negative 10x is equal to 50 minus 100, well, that's negative 50. And then divide both sides by negative 10. X equals negative 50 divided by negative 10. Remember, you can put that into your calculator. Is X equals 5. Okay, so now I need to find the Y, and you pick whichever equation you want. I'm going to pick the top one. Y equals 15x plus 100. Y equals 15 parentheses 5 plus 100. 15 times 5 is 75 plus 100, then Y is 175. So my solution is 5, 175, but what did it mean? So I'm going to go back and read the question. It says, after how many hours will the cost be the same, and what is the cost? X is the hours. That means that after 5 hours, both companies are going to charge you $175. So really at this point, doesn't matter who you go with, okay? Because for sure you need it for 5. Well, at 5, they're going to charge you $175, both of them. So it doesn't matter, okay? That's what it means. That at 5 hours, this is when they're the same. They both charge you $175, okay? Now let's check this with our calculator. Remember our steps on our calculator? You go to Y equals. You put one of the equations on Y equals, so 15x plus 100. You put the second one, 25x plus 50. Then you press second, trace. And remember, we're trying to find out the solution to this system. So it's always number 5. We're trying to find that point of intersection. And you let your lines come up. Once this little thing is gone, that means your lines have come up and you'll see the words and you're just going to press enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And there's your answer. 5, 175. 5, 175. Okay. So I've shown you elimination. I've shown you a graphing. I've shown you substitution. Let's keep going. So I'm going to go to the last slide. Okay. Here we go. So this system right here, if it's too cold, I need you to come in. Stay inside the garage. Don't be outside. All right. So the next system was x plus y equals 13 and x minus y equals to 3. That one's easy, guys. I wouldn't even need to do the matrix shortcut because it's super ready for us to eliminate. Look, y plus a negative y cancels. X plus x is 2x equals 13 plus 3 is 16. Divide by 2, divide by 2, x is 8. And then I use whichever one I want. I'm going to use the top one. X plus y equals 13. X is 8. So solve for y by simply moving this guy over. So how much is y? 5. So what was the question? It says, the difference of 2 numbers is 3. The sum is 13. Find the numbers. Well, there are my 2 numbers. When you add them up, 8 plus 5, yep, that's 13. When you subtract them, 8 minus 5, yep, that's 3. So there's your answer. They do work. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Number 2. Well, number 2 on the last slide. Our system was x plus y equals 10 and 7x plus 12y equals 100. And here we said that x was the standard bouquets, I believe, and that y represented the deluxe. So if it's in standard form, then that means that I'm going to use elimination, okay? And remember, I always try to eliminate the x's. So if this is a 7, I'm going to need the top one to be a negative 7. 1 times negative 7 is negative 7. So I'm going to have to multiply everybody by a negative 7 on the top and create my new little equation. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times y is negative 7y. And negative 7 times 10 is negative 70. Then I'm going to continue. Finally, this cancels. 12y plus a negative 7y, that's going to be a 5y. 100 minus 70, well, that's 30. And divide both sides by 5. Y equals 6. And now I pick whichever equation I want. I'm going to pick the top one. X plus y equals 10. X plus 6 equals 10. Subtract 6, x equals 4. The question said, how many of each type of bouquets can you buy? Well, you can buy 4 standard bouquets. And 6 deluxe bouquets. That's what it means. Okay? Now I'm going to show you, again, I'm going to check my work with the matrix. I know I can use matrix because matrix works whenever your equations are both in standard form, and our equations looked like this. X with X, Y with Y's, numbers with numbers. So I can use my matrix shortcut. Okay, so I want to see if I'm getting the same answers. All right, so here we go. I'm going to clear everything. Second plus 712. Second plus 712 clears your whole calculator. Ready? Second, and then X with a little -1. Notice how it says matrix on the top. So I just like to say second matrix. Move over to edit and press enter. Tell your calculator you've got 2 rows, so 2 equations with 3 columns, so 2 by 3, enter. And start plugging in your numbers, okay? The top zeros are for your top equation. So what is next to my X on the first one? It's an imaginary 1. So I'm going to put a 1. What's next to the Y on the top one? It's also an imaginary 1. And then the answer is 10. Go to the bottom. What's in front of your X? A 7. In front of the Y, a 12. And the answer, 100. Once you type in your numbers, you're going to get out of there by pressing second mode. Then you're going to go back to matrix. So second matrix, but you're going to go to math now because your matrix, you already put your numbers in there. So go to math and scroll down to letter B. There it is, letter B. Enter. Go back to matrix, second matrix, and enter, enter. Remember, you ignore the first 4 numbers. The answer is the last column, the 4 and the 6. The X is the top, the Y is the bottom. So let's check our work. Did we get a 6 for the Y? 6 for the Y, yep. Did we get a 4 for the X, a 4 for the X? Yep. Okay, so there's your matrix. All right. So now let's go to the last one. The last problem in our slides was about the hot air balloons. The first equation says y equals 15x plus 10, and the other one was y equals negative 20x plus 150. Again, you can solve this by using substitution because all of this is equal to y. So then you can replace the y in the second one. So you can do 15x plus 10 equals negative 20x plus 150. Letters left. So plus 20x plus 20x. 15 plus 20, that's 35x. Bring that plus 10 and bring down the 150. Move that 10. So you get 35x is equal to 140. And then divide by 35, divide by 35. And you don't have to break your head. 140 divided by 35 is 4. So the x is 4. So now pick whatever equation you want. I'm going to pick the top one. So y equals 15 times the 4 plus 10. 15 times 4, that is 60, plus 10, that's 70. So my answer is 4, 70, but remember that this is a word problem. So what was it asking for in the first place? It says, when will the 2 balloons meet? And we said that x represented the minutes, because it always says something meters per minute, right? And that the y was going to represent the meters above ground. So what does this mean if 4x minutes? That after 4 minutes, both balloons will be 70 meters above ground. So now let me show you that 4,70 is the correct answer by using our shortcut for when the equations are in y equals mx plus b. That means we can just let the calculator graph them. So on the first y, I'm going to put 15x plus 10. And on the second one, I'm going to put negative 20 plus 150. And you press second trace, number 5, because that's the intersection. You let your lines come up. And once you see the wording on the bottom, then you're ready to press enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And there you have it, 4,70. Okay, so this is how you solve systems. You pick the best strategy for that one problem, okay? And then there's calculator shortcuts for it. So I'm going to show you now the steps for matrix. Here they are. I want you to remember, this just means that it only works whenever they're in standard form, okay? So I'm just going to cover that real quick so that everything fits. So there you have it. Take a screenshot, okay, and save that, because that is the strategy that you can use for checking method when your systems are in standard form. All right, so then on Wednesday, tomorrow, you're going to have some word problems. You're going to practice setting them up, and you're going to practice solving them, and you're going to practice solving them however you see fit. You can use graphing. You can use the calculator for graphing. You can use substitution. You can use elimination, or you can use the matrix now. But you're going to practice all of these things, especially reading the word problem and setting up the equations yourself. All right. So as soon as you write all the notes that we did, find the answers, and write the sentences of what they mean, just like I did right now, submit this again. All right. Okay, guys, I will see you Wednesday. Bye.